then obviously we'd be remiss not to mention the Super Bowl. I mean,
yeah,
for anybody who perhaps didn't remember that, it was on Granada TV, and he brought together the top flat green players.
I mean, that was the vision of Paul Doherty, who was a producer at Granada at the time, and it ran for 5 years. It was sponsored by Liverpool Victoria Assurance Company. They put a lot of money into that, and it was one of the most brilliant concepts ever devised, I think, for bowls, because I mean, indoor flat green, all you need is a straight strip of carpet about 15 feet wide, but it was laid on 8x4 sheets, and those were all levelled by laser, so that it was the absolute perfect surface to play on. And then at each side were somewhere in the region of 500 or 600 people in tiered seating, so they were right next to you. It was like a football crowd, and instead of charging, you got in for free, so it was full for every session. So you can imagine that atmosphere, and especially a crown green player playing a flat green player in the first or second round or whatever. You know, the atmosphere was absolutely electric. And then they had the people up above. There was a little restaurant where people could have a meal, and there was a players' lounge, and absolutely unbelievable. I mean, it was a sad day when that finished. I mean, it went for 5 years. That the company had agreed to sponsor it, and unfortunately another sponsor couldn't be found. Brilliant concept.
And that was the first time that the crown green players sort of mixed with the flat, didn't it, in a major tournament, really?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'd actually played in one some 4 years earlier that I'd won the British Crown Green Champions, and I think it was Tyne T's television wanted a different twist to filming a game of bowls, if you like. It was going to be flat green indoors, but they wanted different types of bowls players to play in it. And as British Crown Green champion that year, champions winner, I was invited. I didn't want to make a fool of myself playing flat green bowls. I'd never seen the game properly, never really understood it. You know, it was one of those games that people down south played. But the more I sort of looked into it through local flat green bowlers in the Manchester area, the more I thought I need to know a lot more about this game before I go up to Darlington. So they took me under their wing and showed me the ropes, let me play a few games for them. But I was very keen to make sure that I didn't sort of take my crown green attitude, if you like, into the games. I needed to play the way they played and try and beat them at their own game, basically. So I had to learn the tactics, the thinking behind the game. You know, it's not just about getting balls on the jack, it's what happens. You're playing with 4 balls each.
The positional
aspect, play. Yeah. You know, it's quite incredible. You know, the different thinking, and I took that into, and it culminated with about 5 years later winning this Super Bowl, which you know, that was brilliant. The only thing I tell everybody about this, that Brian Brett, the commentator, in the first round said, "Oh, there's Noel's wife Sue. She's wearing a whatever colour dress it was. This is the first round." I got to the final and she had to have a new outfit for every damn game, just in case Brian Brett saw. So that cost me a bob or two, but it was worth it.
What was the prize money for that now?
It was £10,000 first prize and 3,000 second. But
and how many years ago was that?
Oh, it's 26 years ago now.
26 years ago.
But David Bryant, I mean, the famous David Bryant, OBE and whatever else he's got honours to his name. 4 times Commonwealth Games gold medal winner in the singles, and I'm a crown green player that's only been playing his game for 5 years. I've got this far, but I'm not going to beat him, you know. And he actually came to me and said, look, there's a big difference between the prize money, 10,000 and 3,000. Let's play for 7 and 6, and you know, and play for the honour of winning. So I thought that was quite magnanimous of somebody of his standing.
It shows the respect you have for you, doesn't it?
Well, possibly, yeah, but I mean, I always say about David Bryant, he was, anybody should model themselves on David Bryant as the perfect gentleman on the bowling green. Absolutely perfect gentleman. I mean, even the very last end when it looked to me like I would have asked for a measure, but he looked at the end and then he just strode over to me, held his hand out and said, well played. You know, and I thought, wow, I'd have called for a measure there.
Yeah, well, put your feet in.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just, I mean, it's an amazing achievement you did there. I mean, it's so sad that events like that are not going ahead at the moment. But
well, let's hope other things will come to the fore. I mean, there's it's happened a couple of times. I think the Lloyds in Charlton have played against a flat green team. They played them at Crown Green on the Lloyds, and then they played at flat green at their place. Wherever that might be, I think they've been down to, I don't know, somewhere in Berkshire or somewhere, and it's been a good exercise. I've thoroughly enjoyed both venues, both sets of players.
Yeah. And did you made the England squad or something? Did you remember?
Yeah, that was I'd always hoped I might play for England, but you don't normally get picked to play for England till unless you're under the age of 40, 45. Well, I was 56 when I got asked to play for England, and I knew that I was told that I'd got asked to play in a trial match, and they were looking for 2 new skips to play. That if I just played my normal game and don't get overexcited, just do your best, you might have a chance of getting in. And a few days later I got a phone call to say I was in the team. I remember saying to my 2 partners in the triples that we won the national triples twice, David Holt and David Lockhart. I remember saying to them before my first game for England, I don't care if I only play 1 game, at least I've got the England blazer and the England tie, and I'll be really proud of that. And I ended up playing 21 times, so I look back on that era as fabulous. You know, it makes you so proud to actually play for your country.
It is. I mean, you say everybody said the most accomplished all-round bowler of any code, and I think everybody recognises that now.